Here's one of the lessons learned the hard way. Complaining does not do anything for you. It does not matter where the source of your trauma is coming from. If that's coming from your toxic parents, from your nosy neighbors, from your negative relatives, your siblings, your friends, it does not matter where the source of trauma is. At the end of the day, when you have that trauma or those feelings, to be going in self-pity, loathing, self-loathing, and feeling insufficient to be able to tackle the problems. The truth is that that is never going to solve anything at all, and your life will be stuck like that. An interesting thing about the human mind is that it seeks comfort. The more comfort that you give your brain, the more options that you give your brain, the more ease that you give yourself, the more you would want to do that. Until you have strict boundaries, you will always divert toward the easy thing. And that is exactly the same thing that happens with us when we go in the self-pity and we go towards complaining and we go towards self-loathing. This is going to kind of a comfort we find when we blame others and we give the accountability to something else that is external of us. It makes us feel like this is not our responsibility. This is not my responsibility that I can't do this or I'm not enough to do this. When you give the responsibility to something else or someone else, it makes you feel that you no longer are in charge and you don't have to feel the burden of responsibility. Catch is, every single time that you do that, you can never change your life because you will be stuck in that. And when you do not take charge, then you'll always be complaining because it is a pattern, and every single time that your life becomes tough, you will get back to those behaviors. So then what do we do about this? What needs to be done about this is a conscious idea that when you feel like it, you understand that it's a pattern that's been going on for such a long time within yourself as part of your human experiences throughout your childhood and throughout your adulthood. And when you realize it's not serving you anymore, then you have every single time that you're put in a position that's uncomfortable, you change your thinking consciously of, well, this complaining, this self-loathing, self-pity, whatever this is, and I always revert back to this. The only way I can move forward is by taking the responsibility of whatever situation I'm in, and how do I move forward from here? What is the empowering thing, and what is the more responsible thing to do? Humans are constantly evolving, and if someone else can work on their weaknesses, consider complaining as one of your weaknesses, and that is something you could work on. When you grow up, changing the mental habits that have kept you from exploring your potential will always be the hardest to change in your life. But it is imperative that we change them, because if we don't, then they're going to keep us stuck to where we are. And what really is the reason to not try? I think it is really classy when people try really hard at something. You know, in our day and age, in this society, people kind of label this as a derogatory or looking down on someone and calling them a try-hard. But the reality of the matter is that it is very classy when someone understands that they're weak at something and they're willing to change it by an extraordinary amount of work and effort. I'll give you an example of how we can choose not to go into the self-pity and self-loathing, and instead of complaining, we choose to take the responsibility and move forward. I had a coworker when I used to work at the mine, and amongst everybody else, when you see him working on a certain project, you would normally see him struggle with concepts to solve complex issues. He would struggle more than anybody else. So instead of complaining that he can't do something, or instead of changing his jobs, instead of giving up, all the time you'll see him work hard. and you will see him with the brightest of faces at work and with the best of moods, because he had chosen to not give up and to not complain about his situation and to push through and accept that he is not so good at something and still choose to do it. And at the end of the day, he would be the happiest of many other people just because he chose that attitude for himself. I do believe that complaining really does not serve any human being in any way. It does not change your life. It doesn't change anybody else's life. And if you're not empowered, you can't empower others. And by complaining, we only make the matters worse and does not change the communities and the world at large. Empower yourself and empower the world. Until next time.